What is your opinion on the widening gap that will now maybe be more starkly made because schools could opt in or not pay their full $20 million or decide that hey, you know what? We're a basketball school. We'll have football, but football, we're going to spend most of our money on basketball. So their football won't be as competitive. Do you think this will push the P4 further apart, or do you think this gives people an opportunity to maybe close the gap?
I don't think so, because ultimately those decisions are going to be made by people who work on short-term contracts and want to continue doing their jobs. To fill in your example, I'm thinking of a school like Mississippi State. Mississippi State's never, ever, ever going to win the SEC in football. Mississippi State loves their baseball program. The smart play is to probably, if you're going to stretch that $20 million, to spend it disproportionately on baseball, or if you're Kentucky, spend it on basketball. But that's not going to go over well. Coming out and saying, if you're Mississippi State, coming out and saying you can't compete with Ole Miss, LSU, your neighbors in football, I don't imagine ever going well, even if it would be the smart move. I think the short-term winners, as everyone is pointing out, is the basketball-only schools, the Big East schools, your Gonzaga, schools like that do not have football programs to feed, that can spend the lion's share of that in basketball. I think what's going to be interesting is a school like Texas Tech that's obviously done extremely well in softball. Are they going to continue to invest in their softball program at the expense of their women's basketball and their other women's sports? South Carolina women's basketball is obviously punching above their weight class, even though they don't technically turn a profit on that sport. It's done a lot of good for that school. Are they going to rob Peter to pay Paul in that respect? I think that's something that's going to be interesting to watch. But at the end of the day, I think all these schools are going to find ways to quote unquote cheat to pay these guys anyway.